A farm that started with a young immigrant teenager who came through Ellis Island alone is now about to enter its fifth generation. The man holding the future of that farm in his hands right now isn't a seasoned veteran. He's a fourth-generation farmer in his late 20s who accidentally built South Dakota's largest YouTube channel while trying to figure out what to do with drone footage he'd filmed in college. Cole Sonne's name has been attached to a lot of questions lately. Questions about what comes next for Sonne Farms, how long the YouTube chapter continues, and whether a farm like this one can survive the pressures that have ended so many others. By the time this video is done, you'll have the answer. The answer to every question people have been asking about Sonne Farms starts with a single post published on December 30th, 2024. Cole Sonne wrote 4 words, "Baby boy has arrived." That was it. No elaborate announcement, no monetized reveal video, no teaser campaign. Just those 4 words, and confirmation that both mother and baby were home and healthy. The baby's name is Reed Michael Sonne. And the moment Reed arrived, a farm that has existed across 4 generations of the same family crossed a threshold that no one in the Sonne family had passed through since Cole himself was born. The 5th generation was on the ground. Now, that might sound like a personal milestone to people outside the agricultural world. It isn't. Inside farming communities, and inside the audience that has followed Sonne Farms for years, the birth of a 5th-generation child is as close to a formal declaration of intent as a farming family can make. It's a commitment, it's a bet, and it raises every question about the future of the operation that Cole had been asking himself long before Reed arrived. What makes that so significant right now is the specific context Sonne Farms is in, heading into 2025 and 2026. This is not a farm coasting on tradition. It's a farm being actively rebuilt, deliberately expanded, and run by a man who has been transparent, sometimes uncomfortably so, about the pressures pushing back against it. And if you think the arrival of Reed is simply a personal milestone and nothing more, stay with me, because this next part is why the whole story matters. The story of Sonne Farms doesn't begin in South Dakota. It begins in Denmark. 2 brothers emigrated to the United States as teenagers, without their parents, and entered America through Ellis Island. One of those brothers was George Sonne. He eventually settled in southeastern South Dakota, served in the military, and then spent the rest of his life building something from nothing on a piece of land outside a small town called Mount Vernon. George passed the farm to his son Bob, who also served in the military and continued farming after he returned. Bob brought his children into the operation, including his son Brian and Brian's brother Jeff. Brian expanded what Bob had built. He and Jeff ran Sonne Farms together for years, adding cattle to the crop operation, growing the purebred Black Angus herd, and beginning to sell bulls to other beef producers. Brian has been selling purebred Black Angus bulls since 1997. That's not a hobby. That's a nearly 3-decade specialty, built through direct relationships with other producers across the region. The farm sits close to Interstate 90, and that proximity matters in ways that go beyond logistics. Viewers who watch Sonne Farms videos regularly have driven to that stretch of South Dakota just to stop into the gas station and farm supply store the Sonne family operates nearby. What started as a commodity operation, corn, soybeans, hay, cattle, became something that people made a point of visiting in person. Cole grew up inside all of that. He studied agronomy and animal husbandry at South Dakota State University, not because someone told him to, but because every single day in college he was, in his own words, yearning to come back. He didn't leave farming to find himself. He studied it so he could do it better. And if you think that background is just context, here's what he did the moment he came home. Cole came back to Mount Vernon during the COVID-19 pandemic. He had a drone. He wanted to fly it. That's the origin story. Not a business plan, not a content strategy. A kid with a drone who wanted aerial footage of his own farm. He had been watching the Millennial Farmer channel on YouTube during college, a channel built by Zach Johnson, another Midwestern farmer who'd built an audience by filming real agricultural work without filters or dramatization. Cole uploaded his drone footage and thought essentially nothing of it. Then the views came in. In the first year of making videos, his total earnings from the channel were approximately $100. He went and bought socks. That's not a joke, that's what he said. And yet, something was working. The audience found him because what he was showing was genuine. No script, no characters, no manufactured drama, just the actual work of farming, fencing, feeding, harvesting, calving, filmed as it happened. As the channel grew, the income grew with it. By the time he was still in college, he was earning around $1,000 a month from the channel. When he returned to the farm full-time, that YouTube income became something he used in a practical, specific way. He used it to rent additional farm ground, not on equipment, not on personal expenses, on land, which is exactly what a farmer thinks to do with extra money. The channel kept growing, 3 videos a week, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. Over 900 videos produced across the life of the channel. The top video, a 12-minute clip of Cole putting a culvert into a waterlogged ditch on a Sunday afternoon, accumulated over 3 million views. Not a dramatic rescue, not an emotional reveal. A man digging a trench and solving a drainage problem. 3 million people watched it. Sonne Farms became, at its peak, the largest YouTube channel based in South Dakota. RFD-TV took notice and built a partnership around it. But here's the part that changes everything about what you just heard. Cole's son has never pretended the YouTube side of this operation is simple. He said it directly, more than once, in interviews and on podcasts. At the end of the day, he is a farmer. That tension isn't unique to Cole. It's the central pressure that every farming content creator faces, and most of them don't talk about it as honestly as he has. Stopping a tractor mid-task to reposition a camera. Narrating what you're doing when you'd rather just do it. Editing video at night after a full day of physical labor. Replying to comments when the corn needs attention. He has said that pondering where the channel goes if he keeps it up for 20 years is a real thought he has. Not because he wants to quit, but because the question of whether the camera becomes a burden rather than a tool is something he takes seriously. Farming, in his view, should not be subordinated to content. Content exists to support farming and to tell farming's story, not the other way around. That philosophy has shaped how he's built Sonne Farms as a business. The YouTube income gets reinvested into the agricultural operation, not into the media side. Brand deals and sponsorships are filtered through the lens of what actually makes sense on a working South Dakota farm. The vet store launched on the Sonne Farms website sells products Cole and his father Brian have actually used, including a scour gel they've relied on for 3 calving seasons without losing a calf to scours since starting it. Cole has also been deliberately vocal about mental health in agriculture. In an industry where silence on that topic has historically caused real damage, Cole used his platform to break what he calls the stoic stereotype. He sponsors Farm Rescue, a nonprofit that steps in to help family farms facing critical situations due to illness or injury, operating across 7 states including South Dakota. That choice wasn't a marketing decision. It came out of a genuine understanding of how quickly a farming operation can go sideways when something goes wrong with the people running it. One phone call, one injury during harvest, that's all it takes to change the direction of everything. In the summer of 2023, Cole posted something that went largely unremarked on outside farming circles, but told a very specific story about the conditions he was operating under. He reduced his pasture stocking rate to 70% of normal capacity. His stated reason was direct. There simply was no grass. With a 500-pound calf worth upwards of $1,500 in the fall, that was not a minor decision. That was a significant strategic call made under drought pressure in Davison County, where the land was classified as abnormally dry, while conditions in surrounding counties were worse. Cole uses rotational grazing across the Sonne Farms pasture system, which gave him one advantage. He could lock the herd out of their main pasture for a full month, allowing recovery even when it hadn't rained in 30 days. That kind of management doesn't happen by accident. It reflects years of layered agricultural knowledge applied in real time. By 2025, Cole was on a panel of farmer influencers at the Ag PhD Field Day in Baltic, South Dakota, speaking alongside other agricultural professionals about forage yield, rotational strategies, and how to maximize what limited moisture you have. This was not a social media personality cosplaying as a farmer. This was a working producer who had been publicly working through drought conditions, grazing management decisions, and input cost pressures in front of a growing audience. The family also runs a gas station and farm supply store in the Mount Vernon area. That diversification isn't incidental, it's structural. It's what farm families that survive multi-generational transitions tend to do. Build revenue streams that don't all rise and fall with the same growing season. Here's what the comments kept asking, and here's the answer they never got. Until now. Reed Michael's son was born on December 27, 2024. Cole announced it 3 days later. Tiffany, who works at Bank West, and Cole brought their son home healthy. The reaction from the Sonne Farms audience was immediate. People who had watched this channel through drought years, through calving seasons, through fence upgrades and equipment decisions, understood what the announcement meant without being told. The Sonne family legacy now has a 5th generation. The story that started with 2 Danish brothers walking through Ellis Island, no parents, no map, just ambition and a willingness to work, has produced 5 generations of farmers in South Dakota. George, to Bob, to Brian, to Cole, to Reed. That's 100 years of the same family's hands in the same soil. But the significance isn't just emotional, it's structural. The birth of Reed Michael's son is a confirmation that Cole intends to build Sonne Farms into something worth handing off. The decisions that made sense for a single young farmer, renting extra ground with YouTube income, building the vet product line, partnering with RFD-TV, advocating for farm rescue, those decisions now carry a different weight. They're not just about making this generation's farm work. They're about making the next generation's farm possible. Cole has said he wonders what the channel would look like if he keeps it going for 20 years. Reed just answered that question. The farm needs 20 more years of building. The channel, if it continues to serve the farm, makes sense to maintain. The documentation of Sonne Farms, the hundreds of videos, the commentary, the agricultural advocacy, becomes a record of how a 5th-generation farm was built in real time. And if you think that was surprising, stay with me, because this next part is why the whole story matters. There's a detail about Cole Sonne's trajectory that doesn't get discussed in most coverage of his channel, and it matters enormously to understanding what comes next. The income from YouTube didn't make Cole a content creator who dabbles in farming. It made farming more viable. That's a specific and important distinction. When he used YouTube revenue to rent additional farm ground, he was doing something that most outside observers wouldn't have identified as the move of a serious agriculturalist. But it's precisely what a serious agriculturalist would do. Land access is the foundational constraint for any operation trying to grow. Cole converted digital income into physical agricultural capacity. That's a different decision than buying a new truck or upgrading video equipment. He also launched the Sonne Farms vet store. That's not a merchandise play. That's the farm finding a way to monetize the knowledge Cole and Brian have built up over years of working cattle, making calving products available to other producers who trust the Sonne Farms name because they've watched Cole use them. The product line represents Cole's relationships and his father's 30-plus years of experience being turned into something that helps other farms while generating revenue for his own. The RFD-TV partnership placed Sonne Farms content in front of an audience that isn't on YouTube. Older farmers, rural households, people who don't spend time on social media but who do watch agricultural television. That expansion didn't dilute the YouTube channel. It built a different kind of trust with a different kind of viewer. And through all of it, through every content decision, every business move, every drought season, Cole's father Brian and Uncle Jeff have stayed involved. That continuity matters. Operations that lose their senior agricultural knowledge in a transition often struggle. Sonne Farms has been a deliberate 3-person operation, with Cole running the content and increasingly the crop strategy, Brian running the cattle genetics, and Jeff handling core daily tasks. That structure didn't happen by accident. As of 2025 and into 2026, Sonne Farms is a live, active agricultural operation posting 3 times a week. The channel has crossed 300,000 subscribers. The farm continues to produce corn, soybeans, grass hay, alfalfa, and purebred Black Angus bulls from a seed stock operation Brian started in 1997. Reed Michael Sonne is under 2 years old. Cole is still posting, still farming, still managing cattle through South Dakota winters, still fielding drought conditions in Davison County during dry summers, still narrating the decisions, large and small, that determine whether a small family farm stays alive. The Sonne Farms website is active. The vet store is running. The Instagram has 54,000 followers. The channel's slogan, Faith, Family, Farming, is more than aesthetic. It describes the actual priority order Cole operates by. The bigger picture of what comes next for Sonne Farms is, in many ways, already visible. Cole has spent 6 years laying the foundation of a farm that isn't dependent on a single income stream. YouTube feeds the farm feeds the brand feeds the vet store, the merch, the bull sales, and the agricultural media partnerships. Each piece supports the others. What's not yet visible, and what will take years to answer, is whether Reed Michael Sonne grows up wanting to farm. That's not a decision Cole can make for him. But every deliberate choice Cole has made since returning from South Dakota State University has been oriented toward making that decision available. That's what it means to build a generational farm in 2025. You don't guarantee the future. You build the conditions for it. What Cole Sonne has confirmed about the future of this farm isn't a dramatic announcement. It's quieter than that, and more permanent. The arrival of a 5th-generation son on a farm that Danish immigrants built from nothing a century ago is the clearest statement anyone can make about what they believe their work is for. Cole has consistently said that farming is his identity, not YouTube. The channel exists to serve the farm, not to replace it. Reed Michael's son makes that statement concrete in a way that no video or interview ever could. Going into the second half of the 2020s, Sonne Farms is posting 3 times a week, actively managing drought conditions with rotational grazing, selling Black Angus bulls through a seed stock operation that's been running for nearly 30 years, and building a product line around the practical agricultural knowledge the family has accumulated across 4 generations. The channel will keep documenting it. The farm will keep running underneath it. The question this story leaves behind is one only Cole's audience can answer. Do you think a YouTube channel built on farming honesty can survive the moment the camera becomes secondary to the farm itself? Or is that the moment it finally becomes worth watching?